Hi, welcome to Joanna's DIY Life. I'm glad you're here. Today it is Sewing Saturday. It's my favorite Saturdays is when I'm sewing. But anyways, today I am going to do something interesting. I am going to teach you how to take an old t-shirt and make a little girl's or a child. It doesn't matter, toddler, or younger. I'm going to teach you how to make a skirt, a cute little skirt from a t-shirt, okay? But today we're going to be using the serger and my sewing machine. So I'm going to be introducing some new things to you maybe. So let's just get started, okay? So what you're going to need is a t-shirt. Mine is extra large, and I am happy to say I cannot wear an extra large anymore. So I have a bunch of t-shirts that I was wearing under things. So anyways, it's a extra large t-shirt, just a basic t-shirt, but we're going to make it cute. You need 3/4 woven elastic. I know the lighting is terrible today. It's very bright outside, but you'll need woven elastic. And a quick tip is, if you save your scraps, which I do, you can butt them together, cut them flush if you have to. And when you do this, you sew a zigzag over top, back and forth, and you'll make one piece of elastic. You can then cut your elastic to the size you need. You're going to need good, sharp scissors. You want good scissors so you're not hacking your fabric up and sawing it to death, or chopping it, as they say. The reason I use 3/4 is because an inch is really, really big. So, but this right here, which is, I think, a half, it's too skinny. To me, it seems like it cuts into the child's or anybody's stomach. So I prefer the 3/4 woven. And all you need to do is measure your child, okay? This is super simple. You're going to need snippers and possibly pins. I don't know about clips, but pins for sure. So you take your elastic, you measure it around your child, and you cut it. I do an inch or a half inch at least smaller than the child, because when you go to weaving it in, it pulls and stretches. So, that don't seem like much pull, but it really, really is when you're slipping it around your child. But anyway, this is the piece I'm going to use, I do believe. Yeah. So there's a few ways to do this, okay? You can leave your original hem. If you want to do that, you can do that, okay? That's fine. We're going to be adding, since this is just a plain t-shirt, no print, I'm going to be adding a ruffle on the bottom, okay? So, what I want to do is, you can take this and just make it all a scrunchy full skirt. Or you can make it a straighter skirt. Either way, you just want to make sure, your t-shirt stretches so it can be kind of, snug. And then you want to measure your length, of course. Make sure the ends of your t-shirt are even. You just put your pieces together and maneuver them the way you need to get out all wrinkles. You don't want to cut it with any wrinkles. You want to make sure this shirt is flat, okay? Then, when you get the measurement of your child, you can put this even on your board and cut it straight across to your measurements. Or you can bring your t-shirt up. Simply take a ruler and measure how far you want it up, and make sure it's the same length all the way across, and then you can use your shirt as a guide to cut this off. So if I want the skirt to be 10 inches long, okay, I want to add 2 inch for the ruffle and 1 inch for the top. So I have to add 3 inches to my 10, which would make it 13 inches. That one don't have 13 inches. So I'm going to measure up 13 inches. Well, half of that is what you want to fold this to cut it, or you can just mark it. And I have a chalk marker, and I'm going to keep it on the bottom run at 13 inches, okay? So I'm just going to go across and just make my markings at 13 inches. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to go from dot to dot or line to line, whatever you did. And I'm just going to make my line. Now you might not be able to see this line, but I can. So it's there, I promise. There you go. So I'm going to cut this, okay? So you're going to cut this piece off, and it will roll some. Don't worry about that. It'll be fine. Now, so I actually want to cut this about 2.5. That will give me a good 2-inch ruffle, and that goes right up to my pit. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this down, and then I'm going to take my rotary cutter and cut my piece. And now I'm just going to cut my other pieces, and I'm going to take and cut the arms off the shirt. That way I can have even strips. Okay, so that was the hard part. Now comes the easy part. You're going to take this material, and since this one is in 2 pieces, I'm going to go over to my serger, and I'm going to flip this inside out, matching up these 2 ends because they were the ends that matched. And then I am going to serge or sew this together, okay? So I'm just going to serge these 2 together, and since I don't have purple serging thread, you can use normal thread on this brother, and I have a link to this in my Amazon store. This one is a good serger. It's easy to thread. But anyways, I have embroidery threaded in here, and you can do that as well on this one. And I'm going to show you how to tie off your ends real quick. So what you want to do is you want to sew, and this is loud, I apologize. Pick it up, put it under, serge just a piece. Leave your needles down, lift your foot, take your thread, pull it, and put it in here, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to serge over the thread and seal it in. Then when you get to the end, you want to serge 2 or 3 off, pick your fabric up, pull it back, flip it over. Then don't get your material by your cutter, pull it away, serge a few times, pull off. Then I have one of these cutters, and I pull this part, okay, and pull this. And when you do, you get that one string that you can pull and seal off your stitches. You have an edge just like this. No serging to weave in. This is the best method possible. You can tie them off by using a yarn needle and weave them in, but this way you can guarantee they're not going to come unraveled. So that's a trick that I like to do when I am serging. Okay, now let me go over here and show you Let me go get my skirt and I'll show you how to serge that. I do want to mention that you want to take your piece you just serged and you want to match it up. Since I cut this t-shirt, you know, and it didn't have a seam, I'm going to have to slit my shirt. Now I want to take this one, put it on this one, and I want to sew or serge this edge to make one long strip. Okay, we're going to make one long strip. So the part you already serged to the one long strip. This skirt is already ready, okay, because I have a hem. At this point, you can just flip your skirt inside out, or shirt. It ain't a skirt yet, is it? Now you want to take and fold under. You don't necessarily need an iron for this, but you see how your casing is going to be? You want to add a little piece at the bottom so that you don't, so that you have room and you don't run into any problems, but you don't want it so big that your elastic is going to move in there. This is just an easy way to make one, okay? So I'm going down a piece. Now I'll show you another trick to get this exactly right. You can take a piece of poster board, cardboard, whatever, okay? You can see where your 3/4 is going to line up. Now you can add your seam allowance on here like this. Go down, I hope you can see me, go down a piece from it and just add a mark, which is usually at the inch mark. And I'm just going to mark this all the way across. So now you just take your ruler and mark that all the way across, which is a little over 1 inch. Make my line. So now I take my t-shirt, not worried about the elastic, and I am going to fold it down, pushing the paper to the top, fold this edge to there, hold it with my finger, slide the paper out, add my pen. Continue that all the way across your t-shirt, okay? This is going to make your elastic casing. So this is what you do, and you pin pretty close because your shirt's going to roll, okay? So I would put a pin about every 2 inches. You don't got to worry about these because we are going to pull them out. So now what we're going to do when we get our casing done is we are going to come to our machine. Most machines will have this stitch right here. It is 3 stitches together, and that is called a stretch stitch, okay? Triple stretch stitch. You can do that with your normal foot. It's no problem sewing that. So let's move over here and I'll show you what to do. First of all, I have to thread my machine, so give me a second. I start behind a pin. That way I know that when I get pretty close, I know to stop. But you want to make sure you take your pins out. So I'm going to put my foot down. And my stitch is all the way to the left. And that's where you want it. And I keep my fabric on the edge of my foot. That way it gives me room for my elastic in there. And you're just going to let it do what it does. Don't forget to take your pins out. Do not sew over those. Now this is kind of slow because it goes back and forth and back and forth. But what this stitch is doing is it's making it where it will stretch, okay? Why it's called a triple stretch stitch. This is one of my favorites. You can do a zigzag or, you know, but I just don't like the look of the zigzag around the skirt band with this type of skirt or garment. So that's why I'm doing the triple stitch. But I'm just going to go all the way around this and stop, you know, about that far away from where I started so I could thread my elastic in. Don't forget to make sure you leave that space for threading your elastic. Now, if I was doing this to sell or anything like that, I would have serged the edge or flipped it under and then sewn that. But this is just some quick little skirts for my grandbaby for this spring and summer out of my old t-shirts. So, you know, I'm not selling these or anything like that. It's just for my own grandbaby's personal use. So that's why I didn't finish the edges, because t-shirt material doesn't, you know, it doesn't mess up, it doesn't unravel, it'll stay just like this, okay? So that's the reason that I chose to show you this way. Now when you get this, it looks huge, don't it? But it's going to be real full. Like I said, you could cut it down so it's not so full, but this is just the way I wanted it, because it's cute. Okay, I lost my pen, which is probably magnetized to my magnet. That's another thing they're good for. You find something missing, you know it's there. So you're going to take your safety pin. I love the coilless ones. That way my elastic don't get stuck in there. Run your elastic through. That's easy as you, I mean, you can't ask for no easier, okay? I have to unload, y'all. I can't handle this. I don't think I'm going to use this again. Oh, yes, I will, when I put my ruffle on. But I got to get those out of there. Okay. So all you're going to do is you are going to take your elastic. Make sure when you pull it through, it's flat. Okay. Twist your safety pin. I may have called that a bobby pin. If I did, it's a safety pin. You know what I meant. And you're just going to pull, making sure that that stays flat. And you can hear it pull. Okay, to ensure this end's not going to come out, this is what I like to do. I like to take another safety pin this to the garment or whatever I'm doing to make sure it doesn't go through. Then you just do this all the way around, making sure that you do it flat and nothing is twisting. At this point, if your safety pin, I almost said bobby pin again, is straight, you should be straight. Okay, the only thing you got to worry about is the end, getting the ends in, because that's kind of, they'll flip on you then. But just pull all this in, pull all this down. This is going to be a very full skirt, so she should have no problem running or playing or anything like that. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Make sure your elastic is flat at the end, okay? Hold it flat and pull some out. At this point, you can remove your pin. Then you take this one, which is flat this away. Remove your pin. Make sure you put these two flat together, okay? You have to have a stout pin. And I'll show you that as well. I'll just leave that in there for you. Hold on one second. You are going to now switch your machine to a zigzag, okay? And then put your needle, or pin, not needle, under your machine. Lower your presser foot on there. Then at this point, you can turn your wheel and set your needle down. lift up your presser foot, remove your pin, holding it, put your presser foot down, then begin sewing. I sew over, and then I back over it. Sorry, this isn't the one where I can reverse. Sometimes it'll get stuck and you have to move your... Alright, we should be good. Okay, so now that is tacked down and secure. Run it through. There's no need to pin this, but I think I'm out of bobbin is what happened. I am. Hold on, I have to wind a bobbin. Okay, I'm all back together and ready to go. So I want to move this back to my triple stitch. And then at this point, I am taking this part off. Okay, you can remove the bed of your sewing machine, and this helps you to get, you know, circles going. So I then place this underneath of the machine. This is on top. I want to pull this down. This also ensures you don't get the back connected. Pull it down to where, you know, it's supposed to be on this. You can give it a little tug. Now lower your presser foot. Leave it on the edge where it belongs, where you was stitching before, and just tack that down to where your elastic's not, you know, coming out or whatever. Okay. Now all you have to do is take your skirt and just move your skirt evenly around this elastic, pulling and stretching. And see, it's not really that full, actually. It's a cute little skirt. And at this point, you can flip it inside out. You have your skirt done. Clip any threads you may have straggling around, and you have a easy t-shirt skirt, okay? But it's a little plain, so I am going to add my ruffle to the bottom, okay? But the skirt, it's done, all right? So I'm going to move you back over to the machine and show you how I am going to ruffle this. Okay, at this point, I will show you, if you want to gather this with your hand, all you have to do is thread a needle and thread. Okay, we're going to pretend this is a needle, and all you have to do is go in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out and do a running stitch down this whole thing. That is not my thing right there. That's not me. That's not me, okay? I'll show you how I do it a whole lot easier. But anyways, let me move you and I'll show you. You'll want to take on one side of your fabric, put your needle in the middle position. Then you want to take and put your tension all the way on 9, whether it's digital or the dial. Put it on 9. Your length should be as long as it should go. On mine, it is a 4 millimeter. Put your foot down, and you're just going to sew a straight stitch along one edge of your fabric. This will be a gathering stitch. Now when you get to your seam, you'll go up to that seam and stop, and then start a new stitch. Don't back stitch. Pull off, leaving thread. Cut it off. Pull your thread up to the top so you don't catch it. And do each section this way. Now that you have your sections, you take your thread that was the bottom, which is one that will be straight across, okay? And it is this one. So you'll take this and you'll just pull carefully because your thread breaks. You have to do it all over again, and that really stinks. I do have a gathering foot, but it doesn't work very well on knits because it's so stretchy. So you're just going to gather your own fabric all the way down through here. When you get to each section, though, you're going to start, you know, over with that section. You don't want to, you know, that's why you don't go through several sections. The seams will mess up. And I got to get this thread out of here. But you just go through and scrunch up each section. And the reason I didn't sew this together was because I don't know if it's going to be too big yet. I'll figure it out when I get it on the garment itself. And also, if you want to fold this under and fold it under and hem it, you're welcome to, but I want mine like this. So I'm going to scrunch all this and I'll be right back. Just showing you, this may be a struggle to you, okay? But if you get halfway through, I mean, you're just scrunching, pinching, pulling, and, you know, trying to make your gathers. All right? So this is what I'm ending up with so far, and I just wanted to show you. It's not as hard as you think. It is time consuming and a pain in the rear. But if I can figure out how to do the gathering thing, I will surely let you know. But anyway, you can go down to the other end. Make sure you're grabbing the same side of your thread or it will make a knot. Just so you know. And like I said, you want to get the ones that's going straight. You'll have a loop over it. That's how you'll know you'll have the straight one. Okay? And then just start pulling from that side and gathering until you meet to where you were. But it's a little, like I said, time consuming. Some may say annoying. You don't want to pull your thread. Now you can put another thread down and you can, some people zigzag over it. But every time I do that, you can see it, and to me it just looks very tacky, so I don't do it that way. Just because I don't know if I'm not doing it right or I'm just messy at it. But this is my preferred method. Now if it was on a doll or something like that, that's something's, you know, somebody's not going to be wearing, then I would consider doing that, and I have done that. But if it's something somebody's wearing, you know, I'm not going to do that. This is my preferred method if I can't use a foot to get the job done. So I'm going to continue this throughout my little ruffles, and I'll be back. Now that all my ruffles are gathered, I'm going to just, this has no side or anything, so I'm just going to pin this to the right side of the fabric, okay? And you can adjust your gathers accordingly to make it, you know, fit on here. But I'm just going to pin it, and I'm going to put it right on the edge, and I'm going to loosen my gathers as I go because I know I got it gathered up too tight. So I'm just going to loosen just to give it a little, you know, a little something something at the bottom, you know. And I'm just going to pin it all the way around till I come back to where I was, you know, at the beginning, making it as even as possible. Make sure you get your ruffle down and not, you know, stuck up in there. So pin this all the way around your skirt bottom. I took my pins out and put my clips in because I'm going to take it to the serger. You don't have to. You can do a sewing machine, but I am going to serge it just to make it look a little neater in case it flips up. And when you get to this point, you want to pull tight, make you a little ruffle, and then put your pin or clip or whatever you're going to do over top of that. And then you move to the next one, and then you pull the front. Now, this one, you pull the back. When you pull the back too, it is going to make a knot and tie that off for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And then just continue clipping all the way around until you come to the beginning. You may have t-shirt left. I'll show you what to do if we do. Okay, I'm down towards the end, and I am just going to make sure that I have enough shirt here for my ruffles. So I'm going to take it, and I'm going to take where I started because I'm almost there, and I'm going to pin over a little bit, okay? Just clip it and make sure. And then I'm going to stretch this across, and my stitches didn't catch, so I'm going to have to do this by hand. But for, you know, just eyeballing it, this will work, okay? So I'm going to finish clipping it, and then I'll show you what to do again. Okay, so I did have some left over. You might have to take it off and readjust, but I have this left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clip off, and I'm going to take these, and I'm going to bring them around to where it needs to be. You know, you can give or take a little bit. Well, you can give, you can't take. My bad. And I am just going to cut this off, and I'm going to serge this edge together before I pin it down. Okay, so I'm just going to serge or sew this edge together and then pin it all down, and I'll show you what we do next. So now we're back at the serger, and I'm just going to get my tray here ready, and I am going to serge all the way around this edge, and I'm going to, you know, just keep it on the edge, and I'll show you how I start and how I stop. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to put this under my serger. I'm going to start to serge. Okay, so I have no serger ends. I am going to take this, lift up once again, bring it down here into my serging, okay? And I'm going to serge this all the way around. Keeping this on this. Make sure you don't catch the back of your, you know, this part of your skirt. Now you're back where you belong. Fold your garment over after you sew a few stitches. Now go back over what you just did. Make sure everything is tucked behind, and do not cut it with a cutter, okay? And then go off. Now you're able to cut, and you're good to go. Now your skirt is finished. Now we just got to go get our strings. Now here's your little skirt, and it's so cute, ain't it? Easy, easy, easy. Now when you iron this, it will hold it down. You still have your t-shirt line on there, which is okay. It's no big deal. If you want to serge above that, I mean, or sew above it, you're welcome to. Now your strings are pretty much easy to come out because you have serged and cut all of them. That's why I wasn't necessarily worried about them. But any that didn't cut, you just take your scissors or your little snippers and snip them right on off of there. And then when I press this down and iron this away, it will be complete, and I'll show you in the end of the video. Okay, y'all. Now, how stinking cute is that? It is so full, so cute. I love it. She's able to move in it and play in it, and just from an old t-shirt that you don't want no more. It's awesome. Well, that's a quick and easy way to make a toddler skirt from something you already have around your house probably. And you could do it with a serger or sewing machine. That's up to you. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you aren't already, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, you are a blessing. Goodbye. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You know the drill. Subscribe to my channel, become part of my YouTube family, and ring that bell to you be... I want to thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You know the drill. Subscribe to my channel if you ain't already. If you are, I commend you. No, don't say that. What do you say? What do you say? Jeez, where's my clicker?